We can look there and there and there. All right. Cool. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Just wanted to say thank you so much for still being here after a couple of seasons and more seasons to come. So make sure you comment, share, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's continue with the video. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You're now watching Kinetic Outcome, and this is a special episode. We are in Monday Studios with an MUNDAY. Shout outs to Wilson behind the camera. And also we have Future. So Future has been with a network marketing company and now is pivoting to a different business. Although this is going to be a discussion between him and I in terms of our experience, in terms of mission and vision, and a lot more things in terms of managing and growing a big team.
Yeah, thank you for the warm introduction. I think I've never had that big of an introduction, I guess. But yeah, thanks for Monday Studio for letting us be here. And thank you, Hector, for the invitation. Of course, Hector, we've known each other for, 3-4 months, and he himself manages a team of over 30-40 people, 6 years in the insurance industry, and recently promoted and, smashing goals. And I think this was meant to happen since the first day we met. I think we just met at a normal network event. It was a meetup, and I think the first time we shook hands, we could see that, okay, this was getting somewhere. And I think it was an idea in the making. And like I said, thanks again, Monday Studios, for making it happen. And, let's hit it off. Thank you.
Yeah. So we got a few topics that we discussed that we should talk about. So we got like a sheet of paper here. So we'll start with mission and vision and goals.
Yep.
So you're constantly selling and potential and patience for unrealized potential. So you can start off with that, I guess.
I think like you said in the beginning about network marketing, yes, I was. But it was more, I would say sometimes in this industry, in the industry that we're in, hard work and luck plays a 50-50 part. The luck in terms of who you get to work with, who is your mentor. Of course, hard work is in terms of your business, but who you get to work with, your team, the vision and the mission has to be built together with the team and just not individually. The mission and vision for us in our network marketing company. So are we talking about network marketing when I was in network marketing company, or are we talking about right now in my life, my goal, my mission, and my vision?
It can be both, but we start with building that team.
Okay. So moving back to where we started, with luck coming in favor, I was very lucky to have a great mentor. He's the one who actually helped expand the team. But it was a pivotal moment for me to understand what else the world has except just work. Because I come from a background of work in hospitality. My dad was in hospitality, my mom was in hospitality, all my family was in that industry. So vision, mission, values, this was nowhere. It was, getting paycheck to paycheck, getting your bills paid, saving some money and enjoying. But moving into network marketing industry is where I actually understood that, hey, there's so much more out there than just work, meeting people, connecting with people, expanding team. We all shared the same vision, which was to succeed while helping everyone else succeed. Empowering each other. We even had a company, a team we called Empower You, the Empower You family, where we wanted to empower each other. I think our mission was basically to empower everyone. So in the team, you rather work together and everyone puts 100% than just the team leader or the manager itself putting 100% itself. I'm sure you understand. You're very familiar with this. You're running a team of yourself, 30, 40 people. Sometimes you don't have everyone giving 100%, and sometimes you have to give like extra effort to cover up for someone else's losses. And I think that's where it came forward. And in terms of goals, I think every time we had someone come into our team, although network marketing these days, network marketing company is basically anything you can grab, grab any fish you can grab and just bring them in and just get them started, and that's it. But we never worked in that model. We worked in a way where we were like, sit down with them, have a chat and see, hey, what's your goal? What's your individual goal? And explain to them what our team goal is, which is to, of course, be successful together, climb up the ladders in network marketing together. And we grew that way, and I think it was a very healthy way of growing. So, of course, unfortunately, the company is not there anymore. Everyone had, quite a big loss, but the team's still there. Majority of the team, the 80% is still there, and we still share the same goals, and we still have Zoom calls twice a week, and we want to help each other, and we want to just grow and that's how we're moving forward. But now, with what I'm doing, of course, I've moved out of the country of Australia. I moved to Hong Kong to be with my friends. And now my goal is literally just to find like-minded people, because that's what I thought was missing, was like-minded people, in especially in our age. It's very hard to find people who talk about business, hard to find people who talk about entrepreneurship and, investing. People, even in this world that we live in with AI and all this, we're still so focused on 9 to 5 or 2 jobs, 3 jobs, but there's so much more to do. But I think right now my mission, my goal in life is to find like-minded people and grow together.
Okay. Well, there's a chance we might work together. We're still talking about it.
Yeah, it's getting there. It'll definitely happen.
Yeah. Okay, on my case, mission and vision, I joined 6 years ago, right? So over 100 years of the history of my industry, there has never been an expat that has been director in the industry.
Oh, really?
So the fact that there's at least 120,000 players in the game, I tell everybody that I'm nothing unique because there's too many of us. But what makes me unique is that's the goal. So if you do refer people to work with me, or you buy products from me or my team members, you're supporting that goal. So once it is achieved, then you're part of something that has never been done before. So I have to do that pitch over and over with everyone that I meet for the last 6 years of my life. Because I want to keep it simple, but there's a story and there's an excitement rather than I'm just somebody else trying to push products out. So that's for my personal mission and vision. But at the same time, as I move up in terms of this industry, then of course the rest that are with me move up together with me. So in a way, we're constantly breaking barriers. And the only goal is this has never been done before. Like last year, Equal Opportunities Commission, I was invited to do a panel discussion, and I had to do it in Cantonese, then rehearse the questions before even going to the actual discussion. So that was an experience, but that has never been done before as well, with an expat representing non-Chinese in the industry. So that's something different, I guess, and more to come.
But I mean, that's great. But has this goal, since the 6 years that you've been in industry, has this goal been the same since day one, or has it changed over time?
Well, personal goals have changed over time, because usually when you start off alone, you're all about you and your ego.
Yes.
And you're walking that this is how it's supposed to be.
Yes.
And you have no idea that things might change and pivot to certain areas that you didn't ever think about. So I'm still very thankful I got my position.
Yeah.
And I'm Christian, by the way, so thank God. I'm still here today. And my goal now is, how do I help all these people to evolve? Because when you help the others evolve and grow, then that's how I move up, right? But it's not really in my intention that, oh, I'm doing this because of that. Now I get that, let's just say, good feeling of being able to help someone go beyond their limits. Because everyone has their limitations here, but you can realize untapped potential.
Nah, definitely. In terms of when you say untapped potential, you have a team of 30. I won't ask you for names, but how many people did you meet who had untapped potential, and once you got them in the team, you showed them your vision, you showed them your goals, and they actually want to follow you, and now that you've helped change them. You can't say it sometimes because sometimes it affects the ego. But how many people do you think they came as a caterpillar and you can see them as a butterfly, something like that? I know it sounds too catchy, but how many people in your team?
Well, right now in our team, there's 6 leaders. Mm-hmm. I'm one of them. And there's a few more that can be potentially promoted. Although it really takes time in terms of the process. Mm-hmm. And usually I give it a year. Yeah. And I can tell within a year if this person can be molded.
Yeah.
If not, then I can't really do anything. So the goal is to have at least 10 managers by the end of the year, or Q1 by next year. Mm-hmm. So we have a more mature management team. And so far, the fact that we are growing, there's always going to be category A to Z, or let's just say 1 to 10 to make it simple. Not everyone will make it. There will be people that will start with a huge amount of fire, but turns out it's not for them, because we only find out what we really want when we try things. So depending on who joins, then we will know in time. Especially fresh grads, usually they're still figuring things out. But let's just say I feel blessed to have 𝙈𝙪𝙣𝙙𝙪𝙪𝙙𝙬𝙁. He's one of the people that started the English speaking team in Amway, Hong Kong. And right now, worldwide, he has roughly 4,000 people.
Wow.
Right? So with that, obviously, the moment he joined, I already know that he means business. So he's one of the fastest promotions, like 2 ranks already, and he's about to hit the 3rd rank soon in a span of what? Less than 3 years? I think he joined 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nah, that's great.
So it's case by case.
Yeah.
There's 3 types of people. One is the student that doesn't question anything at all, which is bad because they just follow. So they don't think for themselves. And there's the rebel where they question everything, but they're too much. They challenge everything too much. So there's just no chain of command. It's all about just how they feel and how they think. It's all about them. So we're looking for the middle because I used to be that guy. So I did not do well in school. I failed everything except English and arts in high school because in school they don't really tell you why you should study these subjects, and we have no idea why are we even studying. So if I knew that I wanted to do business since I was a little kid, probably I would have studied Mandarin as well and made sure I did well in reading and writing Cantonese, but I didn't. So I only found out after graduating that, okay, this is life. I fell into sales. Okay, I like business. I like talking. I like networking. Then I studied business. I got my higher diploma, passed accounting when I always failed math. Then I thought I was bad with exams, but in this industry, you need to take paper 1 to 5 to be able to join, right? So I finished 4 papers. I just lacked paper 2. But paper 5 is investment and also math formulas. So I passed. So it's a matter of mindset, I think. And at the same time, I came from being a rebel to a student. So if you combine that both, that means in my point of view, you always need to be a student. You always need to be learning, no matter how much heights you have reached. Because there's always someone better than you, always.
Nah, of course. The learning never stops. You always have someone you can learn from. And like you said, I mean, when you said about when we were kids and, if I knew I wanted business, I think this is so important in today's culture. Like one of the reasons that we said that we want to be around with like-minded people is we're like the 2nd generation of ethnic minorities in Hong Kong. To be fair, our parents were the 1st generation who came to Hong Kong, or sometimes even we're 3rd, but majority I'm talking about. They came here and they were working, and they were raising 4 or 5 kids. I mean, I'm one of 5, raising 5 kids, and struggling, and maybe they had the idea of doing business, but they didn't have the opportunities, or maybe they didn't have the tools that can help them to be in the business. The people they were around, even when we were growing up, it was maybe start working in a restaurant, maybe start working in a cafe. That's where you get started, or in construction, which majority of the friends that we know are in now because it's making money. But I hope that there comes a time when even in our ethnic minority group, it's not just in sales or in certain industries like insurance or real estate, but more about expanding into business, being able to be around like-minded people. Like if I ever had a kid, I want him to grow in a house where dad's talking about business, where people talk about when his dad's friends come, when people come in, they're talking about business. He sees his dad doing business, and I can help. If not me, at least I can help the next generation. Be like, hey, I can actually be a businessman. I can be an entrepreneur. I can learn about investments. I can teach them what investments are. Like what we see when we listen to podcasts from different entrepreneurs like Mark Cuban and all these guys, what I'm talking about. They have this group, and the kids from a young age, that's what they see. And you grow up with what you see, and that's what you want to become, And I think that's very important. Like as a kid, this next generation needs to be a part of a community where people are talking about businesses and not about like going out and drinking and partying. I'm sure I know that we have a lot of this in our agenda later on, but I mean, yeah, let's move on to the next one, I guess. I think
that is part of the topic anyway. Yeah. Well, the next is social media, branding, dress to impress, first impression. What's your take on that?
100%. That's the most important thing. That's what people forget, that it's kind of gone now. Back, like, if you look at the way people used to dress back then, people dress now is different. Like what we're wearing right now, yes, we're wearing suits. You're wearing suit. I don't think I've never seen you in not a suit, But of course, you're in the industry, and we know what's dress to impress. But back then, it was if we went out, it wasn't in shorts. If people went out, it was wearing suits. Like my dad, he doesn't need to wear a shirt everywhere he goes, but he still wears it because He was always in business. So I think even now, when people go for interviews or people catch up with friends when they go out, I think dressing up is important because that's how people view you. It's not about expensive watches or if you're wearing a LV shoes or you got a Gucci wallet, but it's more about like dressing smart. That's so important. People judge you, and people do. I'm not saying judging is a bad thing. It's human nature. People will judge you from the way they see you. I remember when I went to buy this watch. Actually, I went straight from work. I had an appointment, and I went straight from work, and I was wearing. I'm not blaming them, but I'm saying I was wearing like shoes with full of coffee stains in it, jeans, and my work T-shirt. And when I went into the watch shop, I could see that judgment. But next day, when I went to change the bracelet, I was wearing suited up, and I could see the difference. And it's not that, hey, that's wrong, but that's human nature. It's going to be there. And it's not just where you go to shopping or anything. It's also about people you meet and people you see. That's important.
It's part of the game.
It's part of the game, definitely.
Walk past by 5 restaurants. Hi, sir.
Yeah.
Wearing a tank top and shorts, you don't get it.
You don't get that. Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go for a nightclub, man, they won't allow you if you're not wearing shoes on, man. So doesn't that tell you something?
Yeah.
That, you need to belong to that area, belong to that place. You need to look like there to belong. So yeah. What was the other one? You said dress to impress and...
Anything else, actually. It's just first impression and branding. Yeah, branding.
Branding. Oh, wow. Very important. We live in a world full of social media. You walk into the MTR station, no one's got newspapers anymore. They got phones. So people are watching you. If you're going to be in this industry, network marketing, sales, anything that you're networking with people, if you want people to look up to you, for example, like you have a team of 30, if your social media, if your friends, your teammates follow you, if your team follows you, and you do not look like someone that they want to become, they will not follow you. If you want to lead a team, you have to look like, or you have to, even if sometimes it might cost a bit expensive, but you have to become the person that they see themselves in the next step. If I'm going to, for example, let's say when I was in network marketing, if I'm going to people, I'm saying, hey, I'm doing this, this is this much potential, that much potential. But they do follow me on social media, and all I'm posting is, going to McDonald's. I'm not saying going to McDonald's is bad, but I'm saying, all they see is me going for shopping here, there, and like my stories are all of going out, clubbing, partying. That's not who they want to be. That's not the kind of people they want to hang around with. If someone comes to me and say, hey, we chat up, we catch up, and we share our social media, and all I see them is just partying and clubbing, I don't want to be a part of that. But if I see them like, going on business meetings, traveling, like meeting up with people, having group sessions, I want to be a part of that. I want to see that. Even flying a business class, of course. I want to be that because I want to be that. I want to know what he's doing. When I was doing network marketing, and when we came to a point where we were actually, spending some money, we were traveling, had people are texting me, hey, what do you do? And sometimes I just say, it's not for you, trust me. You wouldn't be interested.
But it's reverse psychology.
It is, you wouldn't be interested. People but now no one does, of course, because I don't travel that often. But I remember, and actually that helped me build a lot of my team.
Even a friend of mine who's from corporate, man. Like I was with him last week. We were running because there's this runners group, and I was like,
Hey,
yeah, so how was
it.
New York? And he's like, it was dope. I was like, how much was your ticket? My company paid business class, 62,000 honky. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
You see? You don't have to pay, man. Like even somewhere you work for, like you can use the tools you have around you, man. Credit cards, like you book your flight tickets. Like my dad and mom are going to Canada in May, and I was able to book their flights with my contest card, the one that I still have from Melbourne. My contest membership card had some points, but now I'm thinking that in the next 1 month, if I can spend a bit more, maybe I can upgrade them to business. And that also is a big of a deal. But when people see the pictures and they're like, oh, he did this for his parents. How?
Let's just put it this way. Every brand, even designer brands, started from scratch, where there was a branding method to create the perception in the human mind that this is something of value. And until you're able to build a team that looks like it's something of value to the public, then it will be easier to have new people on board. It's always creating that perception, then the experience, and then this whole new world where it used to be an illusion, but now it's not.
Yes.
But how do you get to the part where it's no longer an illusion and it's real? That's the hardest part. It's the momentum plus having so many people align with you and understand you why you should do certain things.
I think you're definitely right, but it's also about not letting a lot of people get in their head. For me also it did. You know, when I was traveling, I remember I was like swiping credit cards right in and out. And when the company went down, of course, you know, I lost a lot of money and everything. But I realized that, hey, you also have, you know, you got to look at the size of your neck before you swallow the bigger the bone. You know, how big bone you're swallowing. It's a saying in my language. I don't know how to say it in English, but it's...
Sounds wrong.
Yeah, it definitely does. I'm sorry.
Again.
Yeah, but it's so important when people come to a point when they're spending and you don't want to turn it to a point from branding to showing off. So you're just spending money to go to high-end places.
You don't want to overdo it.
Exactly. You don't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
You can do it small things. Like sometimes people are like, hey, I'm just getting started in this industry. How do I show it to people? Because I don't have that much money to travel somewhere. That's all right. You know, you want to get some work done on your day off, you go to the Peninsula, you dress up well, go to the Peninsula Lounge, sit there with your laptop, get your work done. Guess what? You feel so much better because the people around you. You see people getting out of Rolls Royce outside. Yeah, it's not you, but it's the environment you're in. You know, my mentor at one point, he was like, hey, if you want to do if you're having catch-ups, and this was so important, if you're meeting a potential client, then meet him at a hotel lounge. There was a holiday in Melbourne, in the CBD, and we just meet up there. No one's going to charge you for sitting in the lounge and talking to someone. But
or just get tea or
exactly,
coffee.
Get a tea for $20, $30. But that's, you know, you're impressing the people around. They're like, hey, actually, this looks nice. Because they haven't actually seen that. You know, I'd never seen what a business class of plane looked like until 2 years ago when I was doing well and I got into business class. I bought one ticket, and now it pushes me harder that, hey, I want to make money. So every time I fly, can I fly business? But of course, not using my money, but, you know, from my side income or passive income or anything, you know, from my credit card points, something like that. But yes, definitely branding yourself is important. The first impression is important. Dressing up to impress, this is so important.
I just feel like everything is a performance and people don't get it. They feel like I shouldn't know these drills. I can just freestyle it in my own way. You know, I'm good with people and relationships. Maybe the first few tries they'll do great, but eventually they might have 1,000 tries in order to have their own style. But they could have actually practiced the basics and fundamentals, and after 10 tries, then they perfected it, right? So from meeting somebody in person for the first time to, let's say if they are interested in a consultation with what I do, the way I do my presentations, they're all structured in a way where I have many different types of presentations. And you just look at it as maybe I have 15 programs in my mind, then I can just select which program and swap information from left and right, right? If you're getting me. Because now I've mastered 15 different types of pitches that I'm just going to like mix and match. Compared to a person that's just all over the place, they have too much information and they're just blurting out whatever they know, and it confuses a prospect because you only have 10 to 15 minutes to create an impression. And if you can speak in terms of where a 5-year-old can understand it, the shortest timeline possible, it's so much easier for a person to understand. Like curating your words. This came from Jordan Belfort. Don't use this for bad, but everything that you say before you say it, you already know what the prospect will think. And the prospect thinks they're the ones thinking, but you're manipulating them to think the way you want them to think. So that's why we write scripts. That's why we practice. Because if we perfected the script in a certain way, then we already know where it's leading to, and they don't even know that we're leading them to it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a nice way. Some people might think of it as manipulation, but it's not. You know, it's just about showing them from our eyes.
It's the performance.
Yeah.
It's like you don't go perform and dance a hip-hop performance with another 10 people and all of you are not choreographed at the same time.
Yeah, you practice.
You know, you have to be synced.
And there's practice behind
Yeah.
it. That's what people forget. Like, it's just like what there's a sales pitch for, you know. Yes, you talk about Jordan Belfort, but you can see, like, maybe the movie is not step-by-step correct, but still, it shows you that there's a pitch that they're given, even when they're nothing to their $1 billion business, they still have a sales pitch that everyone follows. And that's because there's a proven track record. And we are so lucky to live in an era where social media is there, where we have information in our hands, all these AI apps. Read from them, read these books, books like Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People. These books are so important because you learn from someone who has done it before, who has mastered the craft. Yes, you want to do it yourself, go for it. But when you've come to a point where you can actually do it, if you can do it, but not when you're just getting started. There's only so many trials and errors you can make, especially when you can't afford those trials and errors. Follow someone who's done it before, step by step, until you come to a point where you can come up with a system where other people can follow, where you can have your own team. I'm sure when you started off, you had a team leader, you had a mentor, and you followed a bit of him, and now you've come to a point, I'm sure you've come to a point where you can set up the rules and regulations or set up a system for your team to follow, a pitch for your team to follow. If they do, that they can go and they can use it. And because it's got you to where you are. And the reason you do that is because so it doesn't take them 6 years. If it took you 6 years to get to where you are, from where you were, you're trying to build your team. If it takes your team 6 years to get to where you are as well, then there's something fault. There's a wrong.
I got a lady in my team.
Yeah.
She was an awesome student, super coachable. Less than 2 years. Probably promoted now, but the announcement is soon by email. She's promoting within less than 2 years with 6 people in a team. And she's on track for next rank next year.
There you go.
And I can double that quick if she listens.
But that's the thing, because you've set a standard, you're basically, the reason we do, the people need to follow people who've done this before is they've made some mistakes and they're trying to teach you. Why do you read books? Because you're looking at it from someone's perspective who has fallen down in some of those holes, and now he's trying to tell you, hey, there's a pothole, there's a mine, don't step there. That's why. But if you say, hey, I'll do it my way, yeah, you'll fall down the pothole, then you'll take time getting back up again. You'll step on the mine, you'll fall down, you'll take your time getting back up again. But of course, this is why there's a pitch and a standard to follow, and just go for it.
Since we're talking about this, the next part is discipline, resilience, or no excuses attitude, punctuality, being on time. It's not just about the business, it's also about the people and the culture. And of course, we will move to ego for the know-it-alls.
Yes.
Yeah. Discipline.
I've put it here, a quote, because I really want to remember it, but I couldn't because all these lights and all these things, it's a bit hard, it's a bit difficult, it gets onto you. But where is it? Yes. The magic that you're looking for is in the work that you're avoiding.
Yeah, I spoke about that to the videographer that I work with, who's also behind the camera. I was looking at the phone, I forgot the question. Can you repeat the question again, please? The magic that you're looking for?
The question that you asked earlier.
Discipline.
Discipline
is the work that you are ignoring.
So discipline is very important because I think a lot of time, I do trading. I trade on the Forex market. And people say, yeah, it's a scam, or sometimes you can't make money. But you got to understand, yes, you can't, because 99% of the people who trade on the Forex market don't make money because they don't have the patience, the discipline, the commitment, and the consistency.
It's painfully good, though.
It is. But once you start making money, it's good. There's very few people.
Painfully good.
It's painfully good, 100%. Discipline in terms of when you're, like we said earlier, when you become a team leader, when you actually start making money, because this industry of sales and network marketing, money sometimes comes really quick. It goes really quick too, but
gets in your head.
Gets in your head. And
I'm Superman.
Yes, I'm Superman. I can do. Oh yes, I closed 1 client this week. Oh, I closed 2 clients this week. You can understand, it's not gonna stay with you forever. Next week. Sometime I know people. I remember when I got my first pay. I was working in a sales job. And when I got my first pay, and I was very lucky. I've been very lucky, man. I was very lucky, and I made the money my first week. The money that I wanted to make in the month, I made it in the first week. I was like, damn. Okay, then I started getting a calculator out. okay, I make this much in this week, this much in this week. In 52 weeks, I'm going to make this much. In this year, I'm going to make this much. And that's going to happen. Guess what? Second week, I didn't make anything. I was like, yeah, it's all right. I was planning to make it in a month. Third week, didn't make nothing. I was like, oh, okay, that's it. I'm fucked. I was so scared. And then the more scared thing that I was worried about, the thing that I was most scared about was the money that I made in my first week. I blew 60% of it because I was not disciplined. I was not thinking about what's to come, you know. Of course, after that, after a couple of weeks, I realized and I started, you know, being disciplined with my spending, and I was able to get back on track. Of course, it wasn't the same, but definitely, man, being disciplined is so important with everything. Like you said, even when you're dieting, you know, yeah, I'm going to the gym. Of course, I don't diet. I mean, you sure do. But, you know, yes, just cheat day once is fine. Or actually I'll skip the day today is fine. But that's not how it works. You got to discipline yourself. You know, brushing your teeth. Why do these days when you're growing up, your parents make you brush your teeth in the morning. Now, if you don't brush your teeth until you get out. But there's some people, I know some of my friends, even my parents, were like, brush your teeth before you go to bed as well. The discipline was taught to you. And now some people don't. Half the world doesn't brush your teeth before they go to bed. But half of them do, because the discipline was placed inside your head when you were young. You know, it becomes a part of you, man.
It's a program.
It
which we'll get to later.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
No excuses attitude. A lot of people get pissed when I tell this to them. If you want it, you'll always find a way. If you don't want it, you have 1,000 to 10,000 to 1,000,000 excuses why.
We used to do, with my previous mentor, we used to do game plans, like 30-day game plan, 1 month game plan, 6-day game plan, 6 months game plan. And I remember he said, I'm not sure if he copied it from a quote or something. He said, so we have this plan now. We're going to follow this. But remember, in 6 months' time, you'll either have 6 months worth of progress or 6 months worth of excuses.
Have a few of those.
Yeah. And excuses are always going to be there. You know, it's a part of human nature, man. I had this problem. I was a compulsive liar.
Really? You were?
Yes, I was a compulsive liar.
I didn't know that.
Someone I used to work for, he told me this. I didn't even know what it was until he told me, and I Googled it. I'd do something, if I made a mistake or something, if I said something I didn't know, and when he'd ask, I'd come so quickly with a lie. But then slowly it came to a point where I was just making excuses to not do things that needed to get done. You know, sometimes there's like this podcast, for example. We had this planned. For example, let's say, my friend called me out. I'm like, actually, you know what? Going out is more important. For some people think like that. But for me, this was more priority. Priority is very important in terms of excuses. How big is your priority depends on how big your excuse is.
Being a man of your word.
Yes, being a man of
your word. If I give you my say, like I say today at this time, I'm firm with that. Unless if something that's really crucial that happened, then fine.
Word is bond.
Yeah. Like personally, like let's just say family issues or something really, really personal, then makes sense.
But that's the thing, you know, like it's very, like of course, family always comes first, health comes after, and everything else after that. Family first, health second, everything else after that. But sometimes when people make excuses, you leave an impression in someone's head.
It compounds, man.
Yeah.
People don't see it that way. Like if I give you my word and I give another 1,000 people my word and 10,000 people my word and I never turn back on it, then I'm going to create that impression of he's a guy that you can depend on. And the most scariest person that you can ever come across in a good way is you know that they're a man of their word. When they say something, expect it.
And yeah, I mean, it's so common as well. Like in the current generation, in our generation, it's so common because people do make excuses and they come to a point where they don't know if they're making an excuse. Procrastination is is an excuse. It's giving yourself an excuse like, hey, actually, I'm so busy with this, I don't need to do that. And then, actually, I'm eating today. I'll watch this. I used to do that a lot. Sometimes still do. I'm sorry, but I'm busy at doing some work. It's time to eat something. When I'm eating, I'll watch a series, one episode, next episode. You know, so giving myself that excuse that, hey, because I'm eating, it's fine. But that doesn't work that way. You know, sometimes people say, hey, I'm not succeeding in what I'm doing. But if someone else is working, if you're not succeeding at what you do, it's fine if you're working hard and the outcome is not coming out as the same as the input. But if you're not working hard, like for example, studying for the exams for insurance, like if you're not giving your 100% and you say, hey, the exam was so hard, you know, I couldn't make it, but ask yourself, did you give 100%?
I set myself as an example of how I pass the exams. I always put myself in a position where if I set the example for them, they have nothing to say. And if they are called out and they don't like it, then they don't like it. It's just some people don't want to be called out for the fact that they're being lazy. But I told them, when I studied, if I decide 5 weeks, because I study different, I really need to keep repeating the same thing, right? So the moment I wake up in the morning, on my way to work, I'm studying. On my way to that bus stop, I'm studying. At work, after the 1 hour meeting, breakfast until before my client meeting, I'm studying. 12 o'clock, I got a coffee meet, I'm studying. I got a meet at 3 o'clock, so in between, maybe there's an hour or two, I'm studying. Then the next day, I'll do the same. If it's 5 weeks, there's not going to be a single day that I did not study. And I'm going to make sure at least I have 4 to 6 hours or maximum 8 per day. So what's your excuse? Because at the same time, I'm going to work, I'm still meeting prospects, I'm still closing deals, I'm still doing my job, I'm still doing recruitment, I'm still going to the gym. So what's your excuse? And when you call people out for that, they hate it. But that's the truth.
No, see, they hate it because
people
like
hate
said,
the truth.
Nah,
they love lies.
100%. But because they think, oh, you know, they hate it because they don't want to accept it. First of all, they feel like, oh, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to lose, you know, my friends' time, my family time. I can't be like that, man. I want to live as well. Because what if something happens? But yeah, we get it. But where do you see yourself in 10 years? If you're working and you're miserable and you're not doing anything about it, guess what? In 10 years' time, you're going to be miserable, but you're going to be 10 years older.
The comfort that you trade off in the present for the discomfort you won't want is the discomfort that will compound in 5 to 10 years. So let's just say I started 6 years ago in this business. If I didn't put the effort that I put in, with my current position and new levels of pressure, financial commitments as well, I would probably be stressed out way more than I am stressed now. Because there's always good stress and bad stress.
Yes, of course.
It's just that people only get to certain positions and move higher. It's just because they can handle more challenges and stress at the same time.
Yeah, but I mean, some people are not, they just don't want to accept it, man.
Then they complain.
Yeah, they do. What was that quote? If you wanna buy something without looking at the price tag, start working without looking at the clock.
I lived that life at a certain point in time.
And that's why now
I want to get back to that again.
Yeah, no, but because now you wanna, that's another step up to get to somewhere where
it's harder when you want to level up again, man.
You want to afford better things.
Like,
you know?
like this year, there's a plan in place. We are in the middle of that potential breakthrough, but it's still not there just yet. But let's say we hit all those targets, then we're there next year.
I mean, with how you're going and how I know that you're going, how your team's expanding, I'm sure you will, man. It's out there. You just got to grab it.
With you?
So.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, man. Well, see, 3 days to go. On 3rd of April, I have my real estate exams. As soon as I finish that, I'll get my results by the 17th. And once I get that, definitely, man, I'm looking forward to booking that exam for sure.
All right. Okay, so next is, let's go to ego, the know-it-alls.
Yeah, I think we all had that once, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
I used to be a know-it-all 6 years back.
It's like...
Shot myself in the foot a lot, so...
I think everyone does, man. If you have a big ego and you don't treat yourself at least once or twice, then it's always going to stay there. But there's a good ego and a bad ego, you know. A good ego is when you've made it and, you know, you can do... Like we said, you can set the rules. You can have that good ego and not let it get in front of you. Bad ego is a lot of people, they come into a new industry thinking that they know a lot. You know, I should do this, I should do that. And it takes a while. And they're the ones actually who come with all the excuses, because when things don't work out the way they said that it would, then everyone else is to blame except themselves.
Because they already knew everything.
Yes, because they think they already knew everything. And I've been there once. I'm sure you've been there once. But it's just, how do you come out of it? Do you get better from it? Do you let that ego boost yourself or push you down? A lot of people, the ego comes in front of them as a glass shield from letting them see from what's right and what's wrong. Their ego is everything for them. And I'd say it's really hard. That's one thing it's very hard to tackle when you're building a team, man. Unfortunately, I haven't had as much as experience as my mentor or even as you, trust me, hands-on. Because the 30 people that you're talking about is 30 people, one by one. But the 300 people of a team we had, maybe only 4 or 5 were the ones that I actually, spoke to and knew them, even went to one of the guys' wedding in Thailand. And my mentor, like I said, I was very lucky to be the team, but I could see when we had the room packed and we, to talk around, and you can see the ego in some people's eyes already, and you already know what kind of person someone is, that aura they give you, the vibe they give you, But then sometimes some people come out better, Sometimes some people understand, like, hey, actually, I don't know this. Actually, I can learn from this man, or this woman, or whatever they call themselves, I guess.
The only problem with the know-it-alls is they come in the game, they're not a student, they'll skip all your basics, they'll just disrespect every fundamental, then they'll try their own way, experiment, might work in the first few months or to a year, and then the fact that they lack the basics, especially when they try to team build, now they pass skills that actually don't have the fundamentals. So that spreads. And like what you mentioned, they can't see their own mistakes. So what happens is everything just turns chaotic. But of course, I'm here to help fix whatever becomes a problem, right? Although at the same time, it really depends on if they're going to wake up. Like, you need to humble yourself and be a student again, or just keep being the same person, because it's not going to change unless you're willing to, in a way, let that go. And you know what? I screwed up. I need to learn. I need to be a student.
Yeah, I think it's not just in our industry, man. It's in life as well, man. You come across people who have big ego issues, and for people to deal with this, sometimes it's better to just give it a blind eye and move forward.
Yeah.
Sometimes, because when I was in the hospitality industry managing cafes, my mentor used to tell me that you have 80% of the people, and this is exactly the same thing in your life as well. You have 80% of your friends or family, unfortunately, who will listen to you, who are close to you, who doesn't have that ego. But there will be that 20% who has that ego, who will always not be happy of where you are in life, whatever you do. I remember when I started doing sales, like, oh, you won't make anything there, it's commission based. And we all, like literally everyone in this room are kind of an entrepreneur, a business owner, who've started a business, something small, and have heard from people, even family members saying, hey, I don't think it's going to work out. Even friends like, hey, man, I don't think it's going to work out, man. But you can, if you have, and some of these people have a big ego because they can't see you do better. They can't see you succeed. They don't want to see you do better than them. But that's the 20%, man.
You've had that?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't focus on those 20%. You focus on 80% who actually are there for you. Those 20%, they are, if you fail, I remember when my network marketing company failed, those 80% said, that's okay, man, it's fine. 20%, I told you. But at the same time, in good things, in my good business sides, my drink business, which was doing well, healthy soda, that 20% said, they're quiet now. But then 80%, and they're there to support. Focus on those 80% who will actually help you, and forget the 20%, rather than you focusing on the 20% and then affect the 80% because you're so into those 20%.
What you focus on is what amplifies. Yeah. To get to beyond that, let's switch to mindset, meditation, spiritual, conscious and subconscious programming. Before we wrap up,
subconscious mind is the most important. Training your subconscious mind is very important. There was an audio by Bob Proctor about manifesting.
You Were Born Rich. Read the book.
You Were Born Rich. And also there's an audio that's an 8-hour-long audio, 8-hour-long YouTube clip which you listen to when you're sleeping. It just keeps playing. I forgot the exact words, but it was about manifesting that, I'm happy, I'm healthy. Yes, money flows into me in multiple various sources. And you listen to it because you're training your subconscious mind.
I have a whiteboard at home that has that line.
Yes, that needs to be there. Everyone needs to, you need to see what's in front of you to train your subconscious mind. If you have an office and if your dream is to, if you have a table at home, if your dream is to, one day, write down your goal, what you want in 10 years. You want a Lamborghini? Okay, print out the picture. You want a big house? Print out the picture. You want, you want to travel the world. You want to skydive? Print out the picture and post it in front of you. Because every single day you wake up, you see it. It tells your subconscious mind what you're working for. The picture on your phone, because that's the first thing you check in the morning, yeah? What's your wallpaper?
Goku.
Goku?
Ultra instinct.
Ultra instinct.
Transcending all the barriers.
Some people have, pictures of themselves. Like, okay, but I'm not saying those are bad people. I'm saying if you're really into it, and if you really want to make it happen, see it. See it in front of you what you want. I trade, so I have pictures of, trading charts and everything, but on my phone, I have quotes in the front that I see in the morning. I have multiple screensavers, so sometimes something spiritual comes forward. I was born into a Hindu family, so sometimes a picture of a god with some sayings on the bottom. Sometimes the picture of Lionel Messi, one of the biggest athlete who worked hard, and it inspires me. So these are things that you have to train your subconscious mind with, and manifesting. What you want. Tell yourself what you want. I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna get through this. I remember when shit hit rock bottom, when that company went under, and when I lost a lot of money that I could afford, I thought, it'll be fine. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. Kept telling myself. Every time I had that internal breakdown, which unfortunately we're men, so we can't cry, I
mean, we can, but just not in public.
Unfortunately, you tell yourself, I told myself, it'll be fine. I'll get through this. I'll get through this. When my business wasn't doing well, I'll get through this. I'll get through this. And even now, when something bad happens, I've had worse. It's telling myself, manifesting good things and telling my subconscious mind that I will be fine. How about you, man? How do you treat?
2021 was one of the craziest years of my life where things just didn't go exactly as planned. Financially, family. My father was slowly passing away. I had to watch him slowly die, which sucked. 1 hour a week, from okay to being bedridden to just passing away for like a whole year. Plus, my ex-girlfriend, and at the time we separated, then she immediately had a new boyfriend, and I'm just like, so fast.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but isn't it funny when something bad happens, everything else just follows?
It's compounding, man. And then my team, because one of the ladies was supposed to get married soon and leaving to Australia, so she left earlier, my top sales girl. Then I was left with just 3 people who contracted after over 20 people took the exams. And then one of them were not a fit, so immediately after 2 months, he's out. So I was left with 2 that also wanted to quit at the same year. So what can I do? So I literally, I quit porn. That's bad for your neurons. I quit dating for 9 months, literally no women. And then I was in monk mode, like literally no action at all. It was just gym, free 4 to 5 times a week, and it was just work. And I worked 6 to 7 day weeks, and my meditation was almost every day. And the longest meditation I did that year was 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Dang.
And it felt like 10 minutes. Like you're in the middle of like, you're falling asleep, but you're not. There's like beta, alpha, what's the other one? Theta, delta. I was in between theta, delta for like 1 hour and 30 minutes, but it felt like 10 minutes. So all I did was meditate after working out because I feel good. And then I get to this state where it's like sheep, right? Like, man. But anyway, everything that you're thinking about until it calms down to nothing, then I start asking myself, oh, why did I get pissed off last week? Oh, why did that happen last week? Why do I feel this way of this? Or why didn't I let go of this emotion yet? So I realized you had to let go of everything. You have to forget who you're angry with or who inflicted pain upon you so you can get your full energy back, right? And then after you made peace with everything, that's when you transition to programming your mind. And when you program your mind, it's as simple as just imagining how it would feel like if you drove inside this car that you specifically choose. How would it feel like waking up in a king-size bed next to your wife, even though there's still no face there, going out the door, going to the other door, meeting your 2 kids in the morning and carrying them downstairs, and the helper, the second floor of your house, your studio, how the kitchen looks like, how the L sofa with the huge, maybe 70-inch screen looks like, the table, the swimming pool. Just imagine. And then imagine going to your office with your 2 feet on your table as senior regional director, the seaside, people knocking on your door, calling you sir, and knowing your team production could be 40 to 50 million or more, right? So that's what I did the whole year. I just imagined and imagined and imagined and imagined and replayed the same thing. Because here's the scariest thing, right? Like, if you're watching right now, pay attention. If what you thought about last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, and 10 years ago is exactly what you created for your life today, and you don't like it, and there's a conscious and subconscious mind, which means the conscious mind is you're consciously letting things come in, and then it's going to program your subconscious. And your subconscious mind is a program. Even when you sleep and wake up, or before you sleep and the moment you wake up, that's what's playing in your mind. And it takes 21 days to program that. So if I told you that you're amazing and you will do great in life, that's what you're going to think every day after 21 days onward, right? So if you're not protecting that, and what's in your mind is exactly what you do unconsciously, isn't everything around you from thought? Like, this mic was someone's idea. This suit was my idea, to meeting Roshan, to creating the suit. This screen was somebody's idea, then Wilson purchased it. This studio was Wilson's idea, and it happened. So you have to protect what you're thinking about, because what's going on in your mind 24/7 is exactly what's going to happen anyway, because the subconscious means your wish is my command, because it cannot tell between what is real and what is not. It's just what you've instilled in your mind when you meditate, that's real. So it starts inside before it translates out, right? So everything in my life now, it's been 6 years, despite all the challenges, because challenges will always be there. I've always imagined that I'm going to be at this position at some point 6 years ago, but I'm not there yet, because in my mind as director, in my mind, I got 50 to 100 people behind me, or 500 even. So I don't know if ever I'm going to be taken out of that game, but because I believe there's a higher power. Like I said, I believe in God. But if he's going to keep me here, then there's no one stopping me but me, right?
No. Yeah, no, I mean, everything that you said, point to point, I think I believe in that, except one. When you said imagination, nah, man, it was manifestation.
Okay, it starts with imagination, then it manifests.
Like a lot of people,
Yeah.
they still imagine as well, but they don't work hard on it, like you're doing.
Because they don't believe that it's doable.
They
Except flying, okay?
Yeah.
Like, we can't grow wings.
hey, trust me, man. Where we're going, where the world is going, you never know, man.
Maybe.
But anyway, I think it's so important, man. These things, knowing, like going to bed, knowing, like sometimes you can't sleep. People say I can't sleep. I just say, imagine where you want to be in 10 years. Trust me, it's the easiest way to go to sleep. That's how I go to sleep. I
Because
close my eyes.
that's
If
the
I can't
program.
sleep, I just think about, hey, like you said, big house, nice car, this, traveling here,
Right.
traveling there.
Everything
That's when
now
you
is
sleep.
temporary.
But unfortunately, people, they're programmed these days with other things. Why do you think the movies these days, like look at the movies that used to come out in 2000s, yeah? Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump, early 90s, all these movies were imagination from some people or from book. But now it's all comic or remake of an old movie because the imagination skills are gone. Like you said, yeah, you thought about
AI.
Yes, you thought about this suit. Wilson thought about this podcast. Yes, but a lot of people out there, they go to work, they're on the phone watching other people. Like when people say, "Oh, these streamers," and I won't name them, but 1 million people streaming their video. Like 1 million people is actually watching their video live for like 8-9 hours instead of doing other things productive. But unfortunately, you can't change that. We can't. We're too late for that now. The best thoughts apparently used to come when you're taking a shit. But these days...
That's true.
Yeah. These days you're on your phone. People are like, oh, if I go to my shower, I can't take my phone with me. Play music. But then, remember the shower thoughts? When you're taking a shower, you're like, what did I do wrong? This, when you're taking a shit. When you're going to bed. These days is you fall asleep when the phone battery is dead and you leave it on charge and you go to bed. Or you fall asleep scrolling on your phone. And that's subconscious mind. That's what you're feeding your subconscious mind.
And your IG algorithm is exactly who you are.
Exactly.
So that's why I purposely programmed it to programs I like.
Yes.
So whenever I'm going through that, I can't stop, but it's still programming me the right way.
It's the easiest two ways to know someone who they are. First is their IG, their profile page. Like
Lots of girls.
Yeah, depends. And the second thing is your screen hours. You know how on your phone they tell you how many times you were on the screen last week. There's a friend of mine, and I just like, let's check everyone's phone. Okay, mine was 4 hours. Someone was 5 hours a day. He had 12 hours of a year, like 12 hours a day screen time. I'm like, what do you do? I work in a cafe. How do you get 12 hours? Or sometimes it's quiet, we're on our phone. And you can check what's the highest thing on. Like, I was like, maybe it's like, listening to audibles or something. Instagram, like 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day. Like, how? But these, unfortunately, that's what's programming people's head now.
And everyone wants instant gratification.
Instant
6 months
gratification.
in, oh, this is hard.
Instant
2 years
success.
in, man, it's not easy. Like, 6 years, I'm still not there yet.
Man. Like, quick money. If it's too good to be true, it's definitely not true, man.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, one line that I wanted to say was, if everything around you started from thought, because this sofa, this mic was from thought, then you're living in a world, well, it's full of everyone's dreams. So what's your dream? Because if all you think about are the bad things and the shittiest things that are happening to you and you're a victim every day, then every day that's your program and it will be forever that way. So change the program, change the surrounding, because everything's malleable. It's not permanent unless you think it is.
Yeah. Yes. On that, there's...
We're almost wrapping up, by the way.
Yeah, last one. If your dream doesn't scare you, your dream's not big enough. What's your take on that? Last one.
Well, the scariest thing is we're all in this to die anyway. The moment you're born, you're on schedule to meet death. So what's scarier, going for the dream or not?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's the best way to end it, yeah?
Yeah,
I think so.
anything else here?
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think the last line
we pretty much wrapped it all up because we talked about substances as well.
Yeah.
So what's the point of weed? What's the point of getting drunk and shit-faced when you're not really moving forward and it just slows you down?
It does. It does. The only next thing on the agenda is when do we book our next session with Wilson?
If you like this, make sure you comment and follow us both, and follow Monday Studios and 𝙁𝙪𝙣 Mendoza, who's also behind the camera. And when we get a lot of feedback, then we're probably going to have another session. But this video is probably going to be chopped into many sessions. I don't even know how many reels, but we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Anyway, once again, ladies and gentlemen, Kinetic Outcome, Future, Hector Tamo, Monday Studios. Shout outs to the video guy behind, 𝙁𝙪𝙣 Mendoza. And that's about it. Pleasure, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, we're like blocked here.
I'm short. Thanks.
All right.
Our aim is to provide value, so if you like what you watched, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'm also a financial advisor based in Hong Kong, so feel free to check the description box for my details and email or DM. And if ever you need video and photography services, the phenomenal videos you're watching right now are filmed by 𝙁𝙪𝙣 Mendoza. Lastly, if you love hip-hop music, rap, R&B, singing, whichever that sounds amazing to your ears, because I always do a lot of experiments with it, feel free to drop by my channel at SCF Saint or Saint Crossfade. Appreciate you for being part of this episode and more to come. Till next time.